Welcome to 734 Games, and this is your host Tom. And today we are playing a game that isn't quite an indie game. It was published by Square Enix and actually developed by a subsidiary of Square Enix called Balan Industries. These are some of the same guys who made Sonic the Hedgehog and the old game Knights. So a lot of people had high hopes for this game. They had a lot of expectations, and a lot of people were unhappy with exactly how, because they expected it to be something more like those games. It's a lot different. It has a personality of its own, but it's not a bad game. And if you like this obscure indie content, or just this obscure content that I bring to you here on 734 Games, please feel free to like, comment, push a little arrow up, or subscribe on BitTube. Balan Wonderworld was also co-developed with Arzest and the Balan Company, and published by Square Enix. Just had to get that out of the way.
Yahoo? Ushuetio. Demo Kuryu. Yay, Autonezu. Kuryu Otosuo. Kasonin ni. Emit Osasi!
Okay, so later on in this video, I'm going to talk about the death of the superhero films, because I think superhero films seem to be on their way out. So we'll talk about that later, but right now we're talking about Balan Wonderworld. Is this game worth it for you to pick out? Well, there's a lot. That's kind of a loaded question. I mean, I like the game. It's not a bad game. Although the graphics, I'm playing this on an Xbox One X, and maybe this game did not get, Xbox One X enhancements. From what I can glean from the box, it looks like this game was mainly developed for the Xbox One and then the Xbox Series X. So they probably didn't put any enhancements on this version. I'm playing this on the Xbox One X. The graphics aren't that good. I'm thinking this game probably looks just like on a regular Xbox One X, or maybe even a Switch. It's not a really, really ugly game, but it's not like the cutscenes are way prettier than the actual gameplay, which is kind of a letdown because we know that the older gen systems can put out slightly better graphics than this. There's a little bit of jagginess to the game, and the sound is great. Music is kind of cool. I mean, the game isn't a bad game. What you have here is a puzzle platformer. Basically, that's all the game is, a puzzle platformer. It reminds me a lot of Mario. You only have one button that you use in the different games, and your main thing is just to change to different forms to complete different tasks. So there's some depth to the game. The game is interesting. I don't have a problem with it. The game on Steam did not have a lot of reviews. So this game did not, and this game also did not get a lot of coverage. It was kind of, I guess a lot of people expected something more like Nights into Dreams. But they didn't get that. What they got was a 3D puzzle platformer. Not a bad game. It's kind of breaking into Nintendo territory. And of course this game is available on the Switch, PlayStation 4, and PC. So obviously it's not a game that's really pushing the boundaries. I don't know why they didn't make this version a little bit prettier. I would have liked that, but they didn't go that route. Now, for some very strange reason, this game is rated E10+. I have no idea. The game should just be rated E for everyone. I don't see anything in this game that wouldn't make this a game that would be appropriate for your 8 or 9-year-old, or even younger. So I mean, that's the thing. The game is actually very easy. I think it's I don't know why it's rated E10+, but it's actually kind of a kid's game. So it's not a bad game. I would say this is more of a kid's game than say a game like Concrete Genie, a game that I did on one of my old shows. I covered that game, and that was a game that's kind of aimed at younger gamers. This one, really, I could see it fitting in the Lego crowd. Although, you know, even the kids that play Fortnite, although those kids are usually into more multiplayer. I'm just saying, like, you're a gamer that's just starting out. This wouldn't be a bad game for them. It's not a bad game. It's not really a game I would see for adults. Now, as far as paying full price, like if you're looking at this game and if it's $60 or $70 on the PlayStation 5, don't get this game for $60 or $70. This is a game that you should get on sale. I got this game on sale. I want to say I got it on sale at GameStop, and I think that's how you should get this game. Get it on sale. Don't get it for full price. It's not a bad game, but it's not a game that I would pay $60 for, $70, or even $50. It's not a bad game, but it's not worth that. And with my thoughts about Balan Wonderworld out of the way, let's talk about the comic book movies, because recently, or even some of the comic book shows, but recently I saw Suicide Squad 2. Now, obviously, a lot of people thought Suicide Squad 2 was better than the first one. I think so. The first one started out really strong, and then, I don't know, like halfway through it just kind of dropped off. This movie was a lot better. I really enjoyed Suicide Squad. I'm not even a big John Cena fan, you know, after his China thing, and, you know, everyone thought that he was a Marine, and he was not. He was never in the Marine Corps, and when he did that, I kind of had to clear the air and put something out on Twitter that he was never actually in the Marines. But anyway, the Suicide Squad 2 was actually a decent film. I totally enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, but it didn't do that well. And then you have all the woke stuff. You have the Black Widow movies, and you have a lot of other movies that are coming out that fans aren't really into. And obviously, you know, what happened to the Star Wars series, although that may be being fixed. And I know it's not a comic book film per se, but it seems like the era of the comic book film is kind of falling off. Now, Marvel has a really good comic book show called it's on Disney Plus. I'm not a big Disney Plus fan, but it's What If. What If they did the first episode, and I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but it's basically what if Steve Rogers didn't take the super soldier serum, he didn't get in the little tank and get dosed. What if Agent Carter got it instead? And that was actually a really good episode, a really strong starting episode. Totally enjoyed it. And I think the future is bright for superhero TVs. I like What If, and I'm hoping that Superman and Lois stay. I know that it's got another season. I thought this season was pretty good. If you haven't checked that show out, check that show out. But movies, like look at Wonder Woman 1984, that one really was not that good. And now you have the comic book movies aren't doing that well. Black Widow didn't do well, and Shang-Chi looks like it might be a decent movie, but Shang-Chi has been banned in China, so that movie I don't see that movie doing big numbers in the United States, and I think in China it's probably not gonna. Obviously, it's not gonna come out in China, So it's probably not going to do that well. And you look at these comic book films, they're not raking in the big numbers anymore. Of course, that has a lot to do with what they Phase 4 Marvel. Marvel really messed up Phase 4 because everybody hates it. And it just kind of sucks. And, you know, it's like even the Loki show, I like the Loki show, I actually enjoyed it. But they still had to put it in some of the new tropes, where you have the strong female character that's just so much smarter than the male, and she's so much better at everything, and Loki sucks because he's a man, he's so stupid, he can't do nothing. And that's just the way things are these days. But it looks like the comic book film is actually dying now. So hopefully the shows do well. Maybe the good shows will do well, like Superman and Lois, and we won't have to deal with shows like Masters of the Universe, Revelation. Maybe those shows will go away, and we'll just have good comic book shows. And obviously, it's not really a comic book show, but The Witcher, I can't wait for the next season of The Witcher. So there's some good nerd fandom coming, and I can't wait. No, I think Spider-Man's going to do pretty well because they're going to have all this. It's going to be like a Spider-Verse thing with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. I can't wait to see that. I think it's actually going to be pretty cool. The Eternals does not look good to me. Well, the trailer I saw for the Eternals, it looks really bad, actually. It looks like the most boringest thing that's ever to come out. I don't know. I mean, I might be wrong. Hey, if you disagree with me, you can write it down below in the description here on BitTube TV, or even on YouTube if you have by some off chance that you see this on YouTube. But anyway, now I know a lot of you guys out there didn't like the first Doctor Strange movie. Some of you, I kind of can't wait for the Multiverse of Madness. Although I really wish they would have, you know, stuck to their guns at Marvel and put WandaVision. You know, WandaVision was supposed to be the intro to that movie, and somewhere along the line they decided not to do that, and we got a really bad ending to WandaVision. WandaVision was just garbage at the end. I really, you know, it's funny because I really had high hopes for that ending. And that's unfortunate that they decided to screw that up for us. But what can you do? That's Marvel. That's Marvel Disney, and they're going to do that. They're going to be nasty, and they're not really into fans. And that's pretty much it for this episode of 734 Games. This is your host Tom, signing off from 734 Games, where gaming is alive.